This is probably the cheapest camera monitor ever, and it's likely a lot better than you think it is. Let's get straight to the point. This monitor is really just a 3D printed mount for your phone that goes in the cold shoe of your camera. Now, I assume if you do have a proper camera like this, that you do have a phone, so that's the first prerequisite. This mount costs just over $1 to print with PLA plastic, assuming that you already own a 3D printer. However, if you don't, you can always ask a friend or a coworker to help you print it out for you. It's only a couple hours, and it's not very much filament at all. Compared to the alternatives, which are MagSafe mounts that go in the cold shoe of your camera, this mount is about $20 cheaper, which really does matter when you're on a tight budget with photography and videography. Now you might be wondering, is this mount actually useful? And I think that it is. A lot of camera screens, especially on older cameras like my Sony a7 III here, the camera screen on the back, like the LCD panel itself, it's not great. It's small, it's dim, it's hard to see things, especially when you're outside in bright daylight. So having the ability to mount a better screen on your camera, even if it's just your phone, with a little piece of plastic, it does help a lot because the phone screens are a lot clearer, they're a lot brighter, and they help you compose your shot better because they are larger and a lot easier to see. So I think that because of this is a very useful print. Now, if you know anything about 3D printing, you might have concerns about the stability of this part. However, for having 3D printed threads, it is surprisingly stable on the camera. Like, you can shake it around, it's not going to fall off. The pivot itself that allows the screen to rotate, it is a bit loose when you print it out, but with a little bit of electrical tape in the joint, it does tighten that up a lot, so it does hold its angle on its own. The part itself does fit well in the hot shoe of a camera, it's nice and sturdy in there, and it holds the phone at a great angle and a great height above the camera itself for nice viewing, especially if you're shooting from the hip or mounting it on a tripod or something similar to that. To connect your phone to this, you can use the Monitor Plus app for most Sony cameras, and I know that Canon has an alternative for their own brand that's also quite nice. Some older Sony cameras, you're required to use a cable, but others who have newer Wi-Fi capabilities, you can wirelessly connect the two together. It's overall a nice and convenient way to hold up your phone as a camera monitor. Unfortunately, PLA plastic is not really known for its strength, so when you're putting this on your expensive camera and you have your expensive phone on your expensive camera, you really want to have trust in this part. Now, it likely won't survive being thrown around, especially if you're like throwing it into a camera bag, but I really hope you're not treating your cameras like that, because that would be bad for your camera too. However, if you're only shooting handheld, just like run and gun type things, if you're chasing a train down the track, or if you're locked off on a tripod, I think it's more than durable as long as you're treating it with a little bit of care, not like smacking it around or anything. I think it will hold up really well if you just stick to those types of shooting situations. I've already taken this on a couple of outings and it has held up very well, especially in transport in the car, which is a little bit rough considering that I'm freaking out the whole time, but it does hold up well, and it importantly maintains its angle through the whole thing, so you don't have to worry about having to readjust once you get to the spot. If you're still worried about durability, you could always print this in something more durable like PETG or ABS. Even TPU if you really wanted to. Otherwise, I think for what it is supposed to do, it's durable enough and it will survive day-to-day use. Overall, this mount is a great, cheap way to get a monitor for your camera. If you have a 3D printer, I would highly recommend giving this part a shot. Thank you to Antho_Mez for creating and uploading this part to MakerWorld. I will leave a link to it in the description if you are interested. That's all for today. Maybe consider liking or subscribing if you found this content useful, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.